Hey, Zach here, and I'm at the Diedrich testing facility, and as always, you'll hear men and women hard at work building roasters just for you guys because we are at the testing facility. But today I want to show you something very special. It's a 70-kilo coffee roaster, and it's actually going to our friends SFT over in Russia. So here we are at the front of the 70-kilo coffee roaster here at Diedrich Roasters, and I just want to show you some of the cool features we have on the front here. Now over here next to me, these are lines. Some of these are grease lines, some of these are air lines, and the grease lines I'll show you where they go to later so you can keep up with your maintenance. But let's follow this one up right here, and you can actually find your front bearing. So this is great. The connection will lead back so you can actually keep up with greasing your front bearing. It's got this little drip area for any grease that drips down from there. And then follow me over here. As always, we have our trier handle, which is great, and they have the built-on light right next to it, you can see. So the light will be on, you can actually see your trier handle and check on your roast as you're roasting. And then right down here we have a view window, and this view window is for your beans. So actually as you are roasting, you'll see the beans move around through that window there. And then right over there, that other view window, that's for your burners. So you know when it's on pilot or full burning, you can see it while you're roasting. So here we are on the side of the 70-kilo roaster. And remember those grease points that I was talking about on the front? Now here they are on the side here. So you actually hook your grease gun up to one of those little knobs, and then you can keep up with your maintenance from there. And then if you want to follow me back here, we got the beautiful SFT logo up here, and then this is a nice little panel. Now on the other side, the panel will be up front, but this is on the back side of the drum. So just with a twist, you'll pull this out, and you get access right in the back area of your drum. And what I love about these roasters is just how easy these knobs are to twist, and you can take off, and they're just like on these panels here. And then if you want to follow me up, let's actually talk about this ducting right here. So this is your roast air. So your roast air comes through this ducting, and it comes all the way back. And then this is what they call a cyclone. So we have our cyclone right here, and then that's actually the motor up top. So that motor is pulling the air through the drum, and then through the cyclone, and then, you know, as gravity works, the heavier things fall down, and that's where your chaff will collect in here. So you have your chaff collection, and the air will continue to move through. And then if you see down here, there's a double connection, and it goes into your oxidizer. Now this is what we call a catalytic oxidizer. So what it does is it takes that hot air from your roaster and it actually makes it even hotter, and it burns off all that gas, that smoke and smell, and any extra particles that make it that way, and it'll bring out clean roast air at the other side. So here we are on the back side of the 70-kilo roaster. And to show you some of the great connections back here, let's start with the air connection. Right down here is actually the air. So it brings the air in, and then this little container down here actually separates the water so you can get straight air into your roaster. And if you follow me up above, we have our manometers and our gas connection. So our gas connection's right here. And then we have our first manometer. And then we have a regulator. And then after the regulator, we have another manometer. And then there's another manometer hiding in the back there. And that one's for your pilot. And then if you follow me up a little bit further, this is our water connection. So for our quench system, or if you have another type of system on your roaster, this is for your water. So once you get your roaster, you have a main box, and I want to show you that main box, and that's what your electrician will actually work on. Every power of your system comes directly into this box that we build for you. And so let me show you inside here. So we have our main breaker, and we have all of our other breakers, and these are VFDs, so these are control your actual motors. And then we have your PLCs, and you'll notice all the spaghetti wire that we have because we are at the testing bay. So all of this will be ran by your electrician nicely through the box here. And then another thing I want to point out is in the corner there, you can actually see the router. So when you get automation with our roasters, you get a router, and then we can actually connect into your roaster even when it's set up all the way from our building into your building, so we can see and help you troubleshoot through the problems. So here we are at your Catalytic Oxidizer, and we wire these for anywhere in the world. So for example, this one's going to Russia, so we called and figured out what we need to do to wire it for Russia. So your sales team will always help you walk through those steps. But a couple things about this. There's the main box here on your oxidizer, and above here, this nice little readout actually tells you the airflow through your catalyst tray. So as it changes, you'll know to when to clean out your catalyst tray. And that's very helpful information. And then inside there's, of course, breakers and wiring, and this yellow wires, all these will go to your main box. So your electrician will nicely run all of this so it's not all spaghetti back over here. And then I also want to point out down here is your gas connection, and then you have a manometer, and then you have a regulator, and then a manometer back there hiding. Now let me show you where you can clean out the catalyst tray. So here's the access point for the catalyst tray. So you remove these bolts, and it'll come sliding out, and that's how you can keep up with maintenance. But this access point can be moved to any side of the oxidizer that you need. Just talk to your sales team, and we'll work with you for fit it into your roastery, what access point you need. So we already discussed the roast air on the other side of the roaster. I want to talk to you about the cooling air and the ducting, as you can see, coming out of the roaster. And on our CR roasters, they have two motors. You have a motor for your roast air, and you have a motor for your cooling air. So this comes straight up, and then you can follow it back here to a cyclone, and then on top of that cyclone is your cooling air motor. And just like the other cyclone I discussed, this pulls through all the particles. The heavy stuff comes down into this tray and connects down here at the bottom. And the air will continue through the ducting and actually go into your oxidizer. So you can see the clean out tray up here on a cyclone. So that actually opens up, you can get access inside of your cyclone and get nice deep clean. So here we are on the back side of the CR roaster, and this is on the operating side. And one thing I want to talk about is the emergency water bypass valve. So you have the bypass valve, it'll bypass any electronic and just pump water into your drum in case of emergency. So on the operator side of the CR roaster, I want to show you another clean out right here in the front, just like on the other side that I was showing you. But this gives you access to the front part of your drum. So you can get a nice deep clean in there, and like I said, it's a nice little easy turn panels on like we do on all of our CRs. And then right below that, I want to show you the automation box. So every time we do automation, it's actually not only built into the screen like a lot of people think, but actually it has a lot of cool controls inside here. So this is where you have some of your breakers, and then of course all this wiring at the bottom that looks like spaghetti, that'll be nicely ran when your electrician actually installs it into your facility. And so there's a lot that goes into the automation, not just the touch screen. So here we are at the main control center for your CR roaster. And I want to point out a couple cool features on here. So if you turn to the side here, you have a power plug. That's for if you want to plug in your phone or your tablet. And then right below that, you have a data logging package USB. So that will output to your Artisan or your Cropster or whatever program you're using to collect that data. And then on the front here, it's a touch screen, and it's built into this nice case right off to the side here. And there's many great features on here, so you can roast in auto or manual mode. And when I say that, I mean you can roast in manual, and you can walk through all the stages of it and get all your profiles perfectly how you want them, and then you save it. And then you can go over to auto mode. And then auto is you can click on that profile that you already roasted, and then you can do that over and over and over again with the automation. Now, some of the buttons here I want to point out is up here you have your reset, and then you have your emergency stop, and then that's your alarm up here. And then right down here on your touch screen, you have your agitator, so I can start my agitator, I can get that going. And one of the greatest features about this is actually the safety for the tape. So you have your tape And then back to your screen here, it comes up and it says tape switch open, and then that's when your reset button comes in handy. And then you reset, it'll get rid of that alarm. And of course you have your drum and drum door and your quench and hopper and cooler, because this is a fully automated system. So we've plugged all these things together so the roaster can connect all of his actual green beans all the way down to his DistoNur. So here we are at the cooling bin of your CR roaster. And a nice little feature on the side here is your drum door override. So in case of an emergency and everything's down, there's no power, you can actually push this button and it'll activate the front door to get those beans out of there. And then right below here, as always, we have full access cleaning underneath your cooling bin. So you can get full access, and you can actually see in the center there, that's for your agitator motor. And right up here is your actual agitator. So that's your agitator. And then as you can see underneath here, so that's what your bottom of your cooling bin looks like. So it pulls the air through those holes, and it helps with the cooling process. And so the agitator will flatten and evenly out these beans, and then the air will be pulled through the beans, through the perforated bottom here, and out your cooling cyclone. So here we are at the DistoNur, and you'll notice right away that this actually marries up perfectly to your cooling bin. So I'll show you an example in a minute of the whole process, but I want to just walk you through it quickly. So the beans come out of your chute here, into here, and then this little knob, this actually adjusts the amount. So it takes that metal and it moves it up and down so you can actually control the flow of how much beans are going in there. And then the DistoNur itself has a big motor that sucks the air through here, and it'll take the beans into the container over here. But the way it actually works is it separates the beans from anything that's not a coffee bean. So it's perfectly designed to pull up the coffee beans, and then anything heavier, like maybe like a stick, or you have some glass or concrete or whatever could be found in that bag of green coffee that you just roasted. And so it'll then collect down here at the bottom. So we have this little connection here. This opens up, and this is actually where you can clean out any of the metal or foreign objects. So up through here into the container, and then that's where you can actually separate it with the Y connection here at the bottom, the Y diverter. So this has a pneumatic gate here, and then right now we have the Y diverter. So this can go directly into a container, or you can then divert it off into maybe a packing line or whatever you have at your facility. And that's another great option we have here at Diedrich Roasters.